because
Yeah.
that's what they are, right? The golden handcuffs.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there's opportunities out there. There's so many
Yeah.
opportunities out there, and that's what I want to do is I want to help connect, you know, uh, hungry pharmacy entrepreneurs, with those opportunities that
With
are
those
out there.
opportunities. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Pharmacy Rockstar podcast, where we delve into discussions on pharmacy business, best practices, trends, and entertainment, all while enjoying a rockin' good time with unique guests. Get ready to rock out with some incredible knowledge, entertainment, and inspiration. I'm your host, Dr. Steve Rodriguez, pharmacist certified merger and acquisition advisor and full-time rocker. Thank you all for being here. Today's guest is a pharmacy rock star that has recently been making all kinds of major waves, shaking things up throughout the retail pharmacy space. She is considered to be both controversial and inspiring, a villain and a savior. She is on a mission to bring awareness and improve pharmacy work conditions. She is the Vice President of Pharmacy Advocacy for RPH Ally and founder of the Pizza is Not Working Pharmacy movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to introduce on the Pharmacy Rockstar podcast, Dr. Bled Tanoe.
Hi. Thank you. Hi, Dr.
Hi,
Steve.
Bled.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It is an honor to have you. I've been following your stuff for quite some time, so this is just great to finally get to talk to you and just see what's going on, in your brain, because I see all your posts and you're very, very busy. And I just wanted to just pull more information out, like what's going on, what are you thinking? I appreciate not just me, but I know a lot of pharmacists, pharmacy professionals, pharmacy technicians, they appreciate your work as well. So on their behalf as well, thank you for what you're doing. So with that said, let's start out. Just tell me about yourself. What's your story? How did the Pizza is Not Working movement come about?
Yeah. So I am actually an immigrant from the Ivory Coast, moved back to the country there about since 2006 and went to college in a small town in Oklahoma and went to school at OU College of Pharmacy in Oklahoma City. I always wanted to be a community pharmacist. I didn't see myself doing anything else but community pharmacy because that was just something so appealing and just so enduring about just being within that community with my patients. And so I went to school with that mindset and pursue that dream throughout the pharmacy school. And I was not naive about the challenges. I knew it was a really hard profession, but I still wanted because that's what I really wanted to do. And so I started to feel a little bit of a tension, I would say, between what I believe was my oath and my values and what, my employer felt that was the focus of the company. And of course, you will always have difference of opinion, but ultimately a job is still inspiring and needed if your values are still being seen and being understood, if that makes sense. But in my case, I just felt really a sense of a difference and like I said, a tension where the driving point of what I felt for my employer's standpoint was not what I really wanted to. And so putting patient safety, last and pushing forward metrics and grade and profit, which is not really why I went to school, even though I understood that a business had to make profit, but not at the expense of the patient and the practitioner for that employer. And so starting in 2021, that's really when the friction started for me when, COVID vaccine was just, arriving in my pharmacy. And once again, it was such an honor to be able to vaccinate the country and be part of reopening the country in the sense of allowing people to continue with their lives. Um, but the problem was, there was not enough protocol or enough safety parameters that would allow me to do that and also continue the basic need that my community, which was filling prescription, be able to, counsel my patient and triage any type of medical need they had. And so crying out to my leaders at that time that we need something in place, or can we scale back in methods focus, while my team is getting, used to the new normal, and it makes sense. And there was a lot of pushback. And that's when I just realized that, among other things, that this is not where I wanted to practice. This is not how I wanted my oath to be. And so, and having discussion with technician, feeling also the pressure of meeting company metrics while taking care of the patients, and while also taking care of the self mentally and physically, and all of that. All of this came together and created what you know right now as the hashtag research not working, which really started as just an informational post on social media to really tell the public, this is what's happening in the major chain. When you go to the pharmacy, be mindful, be kind, be patient, because the people behind the counter are really, really overwhelmed, and don't have enough support to fulfill the basic duties and the promise that they took for you. And out of that just became this movement, that just, is what it is now today, I would say.
Well, Bled, well, wow. So basically, the hashtag pizza is not working. That started out as a post, and now it's blown up into this massive movement. This almost some people would call it a rebellion. Which
Yeah.
is which is awesome. And that's what I love about what I'm trying to do with my podcast here is whether you agree or disagree with someone, it's okay. I mean, everyone has their point of view, right? So we're just talking about it, and so yeah. So there's things that, like I said, some people might consider you a villain, other people consider you a savior. It just kind of depends on which side of the fence you're sitting on. Because you've made some major waves. I mean, you have brought some things to light. I mean, you've gotten stories published on USA Today. I mean, you have brought some massive awareness, and wow. I mean, man, kudos to you. I mean, that is just, congrats. I mean, your ability to get stuff done, that is awesome.
Thank you. I am okay with people calling me a villain. I think I will hold off on the savior type of feeling, because it takes more than one person to do what we did. And I think my whole purpose is to stress the need for unity within our profession. Because I wouldn't have been here today if it was just me doing all the work. It's the people supporting the stories that have been interesting with, the fact that there are other people who have come alongside of me and do the work that I'm seeing. In terms of being a villain, I am okay with being the center of people's anger, because you have to choose someone to lead your anger to. But I also wish at the same time that people will allow me to decency or having the conversation with me, and the sense to see, why do you say the things that you say? What, how you come with that perspective? And at the same time, correct me if my perspective is wrong, because as a new advocate, I don't know in everything. I have to be taught several things. Things I know today is because I sat under someone to lead me. So if my way of doing things seems to be against what you believe is supposed to be, do not let me go on that route and push the profession further in a negative spot. That is not helping. Instead, have a conversation with me where we can come to a conclusion. Maybe we might not disagree 100%, but I honestly believe that if we both seek in the same thing, there will be a middle ground. And so that's what I wish that most people would do, instead of just having an idea of who I am.
Right. Wow. That rocks. That rocks. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Well, tell me this. So you're the vice president of pharmacy advocacy for RPH Ally. What does that mean? What do you do there?
So, RPH Ally was a platform that, Dr. Sean wanted to create more that mirror what LinkedIn is. So a place just for pharmacists where you can find all that you need. So you can find any profession that you need to connect with. And so because, and once again, was one of the people who really stepped alongside with me to help build Success Networking. So we, I fought with the title because it just seemed too excessive to me, but it felt that giving me the title will give me a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? Being legitimate, because the hashtag is just a hashtag. Does that make sense? But having a title will allow people to find me easily and to connect me to a platform per se. And so right now we are shifting the platform, taking a different direction. And I'm working with several different people at the same time. But basically, it's really hopefully in the future to use that platform to also be a place where pharmacy can find advocacy in a different sense and to work along the side of association or any other type of entity that is really working to better pharmacy altogether.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, what is your role with the Pharmacy Guild? And for those that don't know what the Pharmacy Guild is, can you briefly explain what the Pharmacy Guild is and what that's all about?
Yeah, so the Pharmacy Guild was born after the recent walkout from last year. Basically, the accidental pharmacist, or I call my good friend Shane, has been trying to create a union for pharmacy for a very long time. He has spoken to many different unions, but was not able to really get the support that he needed. So after the walkout, he was really instrumental into, because of the media actions that we have received, IM Healthcare, which is already an established union, really saw a potential in the work that we're doing and came alongside of us to provide all the protocol and all the infrastructure that we needed in order to build a unit for pharmacy. So the Pharmacy Guild is really run by four major pharmacists, who are myself, Dr. Lonigon, Shane, and Dr. Shaw Morris, who is also called named as the OS Committee. So the four of us created that, and we are the steering committee, meaning that the major decision will go through us before they all apply. And so we are just trying to provide the professional with another alternative in terms of advocacy. The really good thing we like about the Pharmacy Guild is because we are not here in terms of negotiating contract or staffing level, but we also want to be very involved in regulation. We have seen how much the nurses union has been so powerful because they've been able to pass regulation on the federal level or the state level. And so we really want to come alongside of association and provide any type of assistance, or once we are building up and have lobbying power, to start working on regulation to also impact the profession, because really that's really the main way to really bring change in what we're doing. And so my role is being part of the co-founder.
Who have been your biggest proponents for the Pharmacy Guild in support of unionizing?
So whenever we announced the site about it crashed the first day because we had about 30,000 people, showing interest. So I believe that we have a large amount of people who who are interested in union. But I understand that union at the same time have their own, issues depending on who you're speaking to. And so people want to be part of it, but they're also looking at what is, in terms of the state, what are the consequences of general union. And so it's kind of hard to tell exactly where there are most interest, because we try not to expose which company has the most interest, so that, there's no target on those who want to create a union, if that makes sense. But it's really spread out. Yeah.
Right. So who have been your biggest opponents of the Pharmacy Guild and the union? Can you say?
I would say, even though we have known for a while that some of the major chains have created internal videos to talk about disadvantage of union that has been known for a very long time, even though it has not been targeted against us directly, but it's just what I do in enjoy nature. Some pharmacists are also against union. And once again, I can understand because of the history of union. And so it's it's a mix. You know, you will never be able to please everyone.
Hmm.
And that's why my stand is that there is a place for everything. Unions have a place, just like advocacy through association also have a place. And I want pharmacists and technicians and students to be able to have a choice on who wants to represent them. There's no
Hmm.
one right or wrong answer.
So would this union be a union for like a national union? So it would apply to not only chain pharmacies, but it would also apply to hospital,
That's
independent,
correct. Yes, that's correct.
everything, okay,
Yeah,
everything.
everything. Yes. Hmm.
Okay. 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 So I saw something, I believe it was last week, where the Pharmacy Guild was proposing a $25 per hour pharmacy technician minimum wage. Is that correct?
That's correct. Hmm.
Okay. And tell me about that. How did y'all come up with that? What are you what's your thinking with that?
So whenever we were going through the workout and we had technicians participating, we didn't want them to lose wages, because of the workout. And so, the assistant pharmacist, Shane, who was once again the head behind everything, asked technicians to tell them what is the average minimum wage. And he felt that the wage that they were seeing was just not enough to make a living in terms of how the economy is going. And we can see places, other retailer places which are not pharmacies offering $18, $20 an hour as an entry pay. For technicians who are really the backbone of the pharmacy and who they are, the heroes roster, we felt that a minimum of $20 at least was what they deserve for all that they do. And $25 seems too high, but that's because we are expecting negotiation and to be between those 20 and 25. But we don't believe that technicians should be paid less than 20 because of the work that they do, which is so vital to pharmacy.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I definitely don't uh undervalue what technicians do. As a pharmacist, myself as a former pharmacy owner, yeah, no, I mean, my technicians were vital, to my operation. And so, yeah, I always did my best, take care of my staff, take care of my team. I did everything that I could do. I mean, they definitely know that I appreciated, everything that they did. So, so, so staying on this minimum wage topic, so you saw recently that California increased their state minimum wage to $20. You aware of that? Okay. And are you aware that there was unintended consequences that happened as a result of that? There was a lot of restaurants that owners that just couldn't afford that. And so they just either closed down or they eliminated half of the jobs. And that happened not just with independent restaurant owners, but but with chains as well. Are you concerned that that could happen with pharmacy as well? If a $25 an hour minimum wage was implemented somehow?
I mean, absolutely, because let's just think about our independent pharmacies who are already struggling with reimbursement and all that. There would definitely be a concern that requiring a minimum wage for technician will impact some business. And that's where we have to be careful when we demand. There has to be, it is a demand, but it's also negotiation, if that makes sense. Between the contract that is drawn between ourselves and the employer, where we feel like, okay, if we can do 25, would you do this at least? And so, um, I'm really hoping that whenever, uh, from my understanding, in some states, when the law is passed, there are some exceptions based on business size that apply or can apply. And so this is what I believe that perhaps should be the option is if the minimum required wage is this, there should be a section of business. Of course, one or two business funded with 3 employees has in a very low income place will not be able to afford to pay the employee $25. So I understand the tension. I think this is mainly directed to the major chain, which we know are able to pay the employer if the employees better because of their revenue and the profit that they so candidly share every quarters. For those companies, $25 an hour to technician is really nothing. Not only that, studies have shown that when you pay employees, such a technician better, they tend to stay longer. So you have a longer retaining and you can retain them and they also take really pride in the job. So you're not retraining technician, which costs more money to retrain technician all the time. And so in the sense of a business, it benefits them to put more resources into the technician to retain them longer so they can provide a true career for them, if that makes sense.
Right, right. Yes, yes. No, I totally get that. I'm totally with you on that. But one of the things that I know to be true is that the number one reason why employees change jobs, it's not for money.
That's correct.
It's not for money. It's usually some sort of disagreement with management. It's disagreement with management, and basically it comes down to they feel unappreciated.
Yes.
Because even now, like I'm sure you've seen, there's pharmacist jobs out there where they're offering crazy sign-on bonuses and they're offering, crazy hourly pay, and these pharmacies still can't fill those positions. So, what does that tell you? I know that there's this narrative out there that there's a shortage of pharmacists in the marketplace. Well, you and I know that's not true.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You and I know that's not true. There
Yes.
is not a shortage of pharmacists. There's just a shortage of pharmacists that want to do certain things.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. They want to be, they want to be in a certain environment. So yeah, no, so I totally, I totally get that. What about healthcare costs? Do you think if they increase this minimum wage, that would increase healthcare costs, possibly? I mean, what do you say about that? Because you saw the restaurants, that's what they did, like literally they saw like the cost of a hamburger, went up, 50% or whatever, for them to cover the cost of the labor cost in California.
In terms of healthcare, there's always an increasing cost. The question is, does the increasing cost mirror the reason why? We can say that we're increasing technician raise. On the flip side, we've seen that also nurses, now some nurses are making more than pharmacists because their value have been seen and the demand is higher for nurses. Somehow those hospitals are still running with those crazy bonuses and higher pay. So you can either, you can justify that increasing technician pay will somehow drive the cost of healthcare. But you can also argue that it will make healthcare better because you have quality in technician, because what you pay for technician is what you get. What you pay for employers, is what you get. And even though it's not about money, but ultimately being feel valued and seen needs also to be represented in dollars amount. And when technicians are underpaid and not treated well, sometimes that is represented in the way they work, unfortunately. So I'm not really sure how I cannot give you a definite answer that it will go either way. I can only say that we have not tried yet to see what will be either the positive or the negative impact of that.
Okay. Well, so let me ask you this then. So So the pharmacy guild and pizza is not working, all of these things, it's all stemming from the working conditions and the environment in pharmacies. Is that correct?
That's good. Mm-hmm.
So, so if so many pharmacists are unhappy, so many technicians are unhappy with pharmacy as it is right now, why don't more of them just go into pharmacy ownership and own their own business? That way they can take care of patients the way they see fit, and they can, there's no cap as to how much money they can make. I mean, right now there's so many baby boomers that they're looking to retire, and they have pharmacies that they're looking to sell, and right now is the perfect opportunity, the perfect time to go in and acquire a nice pharmacy, a nice business that's cash flowing, that can, provide someone a nice living. They have, most independent pharmacies are open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, half a day on Saturday. Why don't more pharmacists, and pharmacy technicians consider that option? Why would you say?
I think you know the answer why. There is, for the last 20 years, we've been fighting one big giant that is never going away for some reason. PBM and vertical integration, which we all know violates FTC rules, but somehow no one has been able to break that down. And even though it seems that the perfect answer would be to go into ownership so that you can direct the culture that you want to have, we've seen also that for the last so many years, the amount of independent pharmacists who have closed because of the investment. And so, yes, you want a culture that you can drive, but at the same time, you have a precedent that independents are not able to survive because of XYZ. So that on itself is not appealing to leave a place, unfortunately, that is killing you mentally, physically, to go fight another giant that the entire profession has been trying to fight for 20 years. And we see well-established family have been in committee for 20 so years closing. And the one reason is all the time because of reimbursement.
Right. Okay. No, I totally hear what you're saying on that. But to the flip side, though, there's also independents out there that are happier than they've ever been. They're making more money than they've ever made. They are, they're spending more times with their loved ones than they ever have. And that's the thing, is that there's a lot of people out there that are just killing it. They are crushing it. When you talk to, I had Lisa Fost on my show a few weeks ago, and she's a great example of that. I mean, though you're right, there's guys that are closing down, and I hate that. Lisa and I talked about that. I hate seeing whenever an independent just closes their doors down, because that doesn't have to happen. However, those guys that you're referring to, a lot of those guys that are closing down, everyone wants to say that it's the PBMs, or it's the chains, it's the competition. I don't find that to be necessarily the case, because what I have seen is that there's guys out there, the ones that are willing to adapt, the ones that are willing to change, the ones that are willing to think outside the box.
But yeah.
Those guys, they are crushing it,
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I think you're 100% that we have seen very successful independent, surviving for so long because of innovation, adaptation, and expanding the clinical service and going either cash flow to avoid all the contract and everything. The truth is the majority of independent are either centered in small city or rural area, where those population are either on Medicaid or Medicare, or just are not able to afford the cash flow business. So it's hard to make a statement of generalization that this is working because XYZ is doing that. And yes, there is potential for growth, but at the same time, in some states, the majority of where the pharmacy are located are in those small places or small city where they're all dependent on the contract with Medicaid or Medicare or the contract with those big PBMs. Therefore, to think outside of the boxes is very difficult. But the other side is to be that not everybody has a spirit of entrepreneurship. Not everybody is a risk taker. Not everybody can afford to go on a limb and say, I'm going to do this for X, Y, 3 years and believe that it's going to take off. Some of those pharmacists, they are one income family where insurance is needed and it takes a long time. You will notice a long time for a business to pick up. Nobody has to wake up in the morning and within even a year and a half has a successful business. It's the constant grinding and grinding. So there's no right or wrong answer as why they are not living. I think also sometimes we feel like, where else am I going to go? This is all I have known all my life. I don't want to start over. I have a good 401k. I have a good income. I have seniority. So I cannot jeopardize this to go try out something and then what is? So I cannot fault anyone for staying in where they are, nor can I fault anyone for leaving because everybody is different.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I just see this every day though. This is what I do, as I help, you know, um, I connect buyers with sellers, through my pharmacy brokerage business. And I just see so many opportunities out there. Like, in fact, I've got a couple of opportunities in Oklahoma, right now. And where I see these owners, they're doing well. However, there's so much untapped opportunity that they haven't tapped into. Like, one of these pharmacies doesn't even have a website. They don't even have a website, but they're doing really well. Okay. So just think, if they get a website, they get active on social media, they incorporate compound, they incorporate clinical services. One thing that COVID did is it really put pharmacists on the forefront. Now, I will say that I am kind of disappointed that pharmacists, we did not get more recognition for what we did during COVID. I mean, I really do think that we got overlooked. I mean, I was on the forefront, during COVID vaccines. I mean, I was there. I mean, I remember, everything that was going on, having to immunize all these people, and just everyone was scared, and all of that. And I do think that, pharmacists got overlooked, and that was unfortunate. But it opened up the door to a lot of opportunities, and those guys that are willing to get out there, and it's about risk, it's about taking a chance, but what's the best bet someone can make? Betting on yourself. I don't think there's any better bet than betting on yourself, and so, yeah, you get out there and you take a calculated risk, and then you make great things happen. Because the thing is when you own your own pharmacy, I mean, you're the boss. You control your most valuable asset, which is your time. I have seen pharmacies where moms have raised their kids in the pharmacy. Like, they literally have their kid in the pharmacy. They bring them to work, and that's actually good for business because customers love that. They love that. You could never do that in a corporate setting, and I've seen a lot of things like that. They're just awesome. And I just think that, yeah, there's this misperception out there that, oh yeah, PBMs, you can't make money. It's a big risk. It's a big chance. Yeah. I mean, everything's a gamble, but on the flip side though, there are some independents that are doing really, really well. And there's a lot of great opportunities out there. And I just really want to encourage people that, hey, if you're that dissatisfied with, working, in the corporate world with the chains, I know it's hard to let go of the golden
Yeah.
handcuffs,
Yeah.
because that's what they are, right? The golden handcuffs.
Yes.
But there's
Yes.
opportunities out there. There's so many
Yeah.
opportunities out there, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to help connect, hungry pharmacy entrepreneurs, with those opportunities that
With
are
those
out there,
opportunities. Yeah.
and dealing with the chains. I think right now there's an opportunity for pharmacists to to possibly cooperate with one of the big chains. One of the big chains recently, the CEO mentioned that they're trying to push for provider status with Medicare.
My statement remains the same. You can have provider status as soon as you provide the resources to support the clinical service. But first, you have to, if you fighting for status, you have to fight for the services that are already happening now. Pharmacists are providing valuable service right now in the chain, and they are not being recognized or being paid for that. So that has to happen before. Then if you want to add any, you have to provide the staffing, the billing protocol and everything. And that's the thing. Are we assuming that this company is going to allow their provider to be paid for the service? Or is the money going somewhere else? And that's a big question. So I am not against expansion of scope of practice. I think it's not only that, I think it benefits us as a profession. It benefits the patients. And I mean, altogether, we can do this. We have the knowledge, we have the background, we have all this. However, and while I'm saying that, we also cannot punish pharmacy practices which are already set to handle all that expansion. Let's be clear, because there are some independent, some ambulatory care, or even some chains stores who are well staffed and well designed to do all that. However, 90% are not. So it's how do we fight that inequity where we are not endangering those who are already suffering, but we're also not keeping opportunities for those who are able to do such things. I think that's the huge struggle that we're all having right now. And somebody has an answer. I would love to see for that. Even here in Oklahoma, we're talking about test to treat and increasing technician ratio. The test to treat laws have been vetoed for the last 5 years. Now they're back again on the regulatory process. And after talking to some people in association, we feel that it will benefit independent in terms of monetary gain to be able to have them survive, since many of them are already struggling with PPM. It will allow patients to have more access to care. It will benefit pharmacy overall. But at the same time, it will add immense pressure within the chain. So how do we address that? And I honestly don't know the answer.
Yeah, I just see, with the expansion of clinical services, being recognized as a provider by Medicare. To me, I just think that's even more reason to have your own pharmacy, because you're gonna be paid for those services, and you're now receiving those funds, and then you can hire more technicians, you can invest in your business, and you can do more for that community that you're serving, and that's where. I'm a big proponent for that. I just see so many more opportunities that can be had, by getting that, and that just be even more reason, for hungry, pharmacy entrepreneurs, that they're unhappy, unsatisfied with their, personal, professional, and financial life, to go out on their own and just tap into those resources, the Bruce Nealons of the world, the Lisa Foss of the world. You have all these brilliant minds out there that you can, if you don't know something about, owning your business or running a pharmacy, those resources are there. They're there for people to tap into, and I just, so to me, that's exciting, whenever I see that.
And I think, and I agree with you. I think, for instance, for someone that is probably coming from the channel, somebody that has been sympathizing with the chain, I can see that it can create a sense of turmoil within themselves, where it benefits them, but it will also not necessarily benefit their colleague on the other side, if that makes sense. So then how do you reconcile this tension within yourself, where you have to survive as a business owner, you have to be able to provide a service to your community, but you also realize that unless the protocol is clear, it is separate in how it applies to who, it can also create a concern of patient safety or a delay of care for those who they only get to access it through the chain. Because think about it right now, most pharmacists cannot even fulfill the basic need of being there, which is filling prescription and interacting with patient because they are days behind what they're supposed to do. And then you go and you add a service on top of that with the same staffing. You already have a lack of access to care, safe care, not because of not because of the pharmacists, but because of the environment. You have a delay of access to care. Now, if you add more services, what you going to have? And then when you have patients who live in state where there's no protocol to allow patient access because the insurance do not allow them, you again a concern about public safety. So there's so much to take in consideration when we talk about expansion of clinical service, provider status, and all of that.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think I think it's going to come down to, those that are innovators, those that are willing to innovate, those that can adapt, utilize technology. you know I've had this conversation with many independent pharmacy owners that a lot of them are almost too independent. So that's where you tap into other resources, you network, you talk to people that are, what are those guys that are crushing it? What are they doing? Look at what they're doing and hey, try to take a page out of their book, and then you can easily incorporate all these things to make your business more valuable, to allow you to hire more people and, make sure that you're taking care of your patients. Because that's one thing with independents is, their reputation is everything. They're not located on every single corner. They're not running in multi-million-dollar commercial ads, and, they don't have these vertical integrations, where networks, for funneling business to them, constantly. So those guys, the ones that are doing well, they're innovators. I mean, they think outside the box and they're doing those things that other guys aren't willing to do, and that's how they're thriving and continue to just explode. So let me ask you this: what would you say to someone like Karen Lynch, Prem Shah, Tim Wentworth, if they were here right now? I mean, first off, would you have a discussion with them? Would you be open to having
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes,
Would you be open to that?
I am dreaming of the day I'm going to get in call and say,
Uh-huh.
Pram or Karen or Tim want to talk to you. I cannot wait for that day
Yeah.
because there is this misconception about me that I want the chain to fail. Okay, that is stupid. That's not right. That is so stupid.
Right.
I recognize the value of
Mm-hmm.
community chain pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was one. We all need it in the public. So I am not battling for them to go away. I am battling for them to survive and to provide safe and effective care to the patients and to treat the employees better. That's my battle. So if either of those individuals say, we want you in the next plan tomorrow. I will be calling and I'll say, hey, I gotta go meet the president. I need off tomorrow. I gotta go. I will be there having the conversation. And and first I would want them to tell me why do they think the way they think? Because I can only have a perception based on what the company as a whole is doing. But when you are a CEO and all that, you might have things going to your mind that can cause you to act a certain way. So first, I want to know what they're thinking. And I want to tell them, this is what I'm thinking. I believe that if you do this for your employees, if you treat them this way, if you invest in this way, your shareholders will be better off because if the focus on the CEOs, the shareholders, then fulfill this equation and this will happen. And let's work together to make that happen. Because that's what we want. We want them to be successful as a company, but not at the cost of the people who are providing the care. We want them to put those individuals first because once again, if you treat the labor better, the outcome works. That's just business.
Very nice. All right. So let me ask you this. So the name of this podcast is the Pharmacy Rockstar. And I came up with that name because that's the people that I bring on. I bring on people that are rock stars in pharmacy, people that are doing leaders like people that are doing things, big thinkers. I mean, those are the kind of rock stars, pharmacy rock stars I bring on my show. So let me ask you, when you think of a rock star, like in business, philanthropy, what have you, when you think of a rock star like that, who do you think of?
So, okay, people ask me all the time, and it's kind of hard to answer that question because I am of the thought that, okay, if we do that to someone, there's a level of pressure that we put on them to always behave this way. And we do not allow them to be human, to make mistakes, to have thoughts because we have allowed them to be those individuals. And I even struggle with that when people call me inspiration because it's almost like you shoot no way of not being human. And so why I have people that I believe that, oh my God, you are freaking awesome. And I can tell this name. I try not to idolize them because I want them to still have the humanity left in them, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I can tell people that are not working, that the Sally and Tyler, which is really working on creating a different culture when it comes to residency program, that the actual worker working on advocacy for deaf patients and deaf pharmacists. I can talk about oh my gosh. And Dr. Honest Volky, who's going to be making change in APHA. Man, I have people that can say names for me that I think that they are instrumental in our profession. But I'm also really careful to not elevate them so that if they fall, they're not falling too far, if that makes sense.
Are there any rock stars in the pharmacy space that you currently work with? Like people that you think, that would be,
I mean,
a rock star?
my people from the pharmacy guild, I like my stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, but don't think of this as cliche. I think that the real heroes in the story right here,
Uh-huh.
it's not myself or all the people that are on social media. It's the pharmacist technician that put the white coat every day on and go behind the counter and keep
Uh-huh.
serving our patients. Those are the people I consider my rock star because they're
Yeah.
all doing the hard job of sustaining the community and to make sure pharmacy continue to thrive. Those are who I would consider my rock star, and they're all thousands of them.
Nice,
If
nice.
if
That
if
rocks. That
anybody's
rocks.
my
It's
inspiration,
awesome.
it will be them. It will be
Yeah.
them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Totally rocks. All right. So I'm a rock music junkie. I love music. I'm a drummer. I play the drums. I'm an avid rocker. So so who's your favorite musical rock star? Like it didn't have to be a rock, just music. Like who's your who's your favorite musical rock star?
um I tend to like groups of people. So I listen a lot to Hillsong or Bethel music, um or Adele. I
Yeah.
really like some of the sun. I won't say I have a particular like artist that I like, oh my god, I will die to see them in concert because I'm probably not as musically inclined or involved as most people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's awesome. But yeah,
hmm
but those artists you mentioned, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Well, Bled. Well, so tell me, what can I do to help you? Like, what can I do? With my network. With my show. With what I'm doing. How can I help you? What can I do for you?
I mean, this opportunity to just like be here and sharing my thoughts and you asking questions of what you believe is important and maybe what most people are asking is very helpful. I think just like continue to help raise awareness, about what is happening in the practice setting. Um, and, and, and just any type of wisdom that you also have to share for me to be a better advocate and just for every profession to move forward it's plenty in that we all have different roles to play. I think having the network to connect with XYZ is really important, especially like in the media setting and when we need to get information out there, it's also really great. Yeah, so those different type of things. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, if there's anything I can do for you, please, you got my contact information. Don't ever hesitate to reach out. I mean, hey, anything I can do to help you. I mean, I thank you for everything that you're doing. I see your post, your aunts, sometimes I'm thinking, man, this lady must be an octopus. She's got all these messages, long messages, she's probably got, 4 or 5 different computers going to respond to all these social media posts, so thank you so much for all that you're doing, for the profession of pharmacy. I mean, I thank you, and I know that my audience thanks you. Everyone in the pharmacy world thanks you. So your work is not going overlooked. That's for sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So Bled, so how can my audience get in contact with you? What's the best way to reach you?
You can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, or you can email me at bled@rphally.com, which you have my information. Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's bled@rphally.com.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Bled, thank you once more for being on the Pharmacy Rockstar podcast. I look forward to seeing you at one of these conventions one day, and we'll meet up and we'll talk some more.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Bled. Thank you so much.